Prof, the next slide. So the flagship protocol is the protocol of free movement of persons, goods, services, and capital. This protocol was envisioned, was adopted in 1979, but was a vision to drive through a 15-year lifespan, all in 3 phases. So it came into definitive entry into force 1980, and which means that from 80 to 85, we'll have established with the right of entry. And the first thing there is removal of visa for community citizens. I'll go back to what they call community citizens. So abolition of visa. There's no visa requirement for you to move into the 15 member states. But also, we should also know that it came back to 16 member states. So for the records, 16 because Mauritania was also part of ECOWAS. But in 2000, they also left. So within that first phase, right of entry. But right of entry, you also require a travel document. You don't just wake up and start traveling to another person's country because you are an ECOWAS citizen. The travel document there, the passport, the national passport, and also what they call this travel certificate. So in a nutshell, then added again is the health certificate, or what they call yellow card. So with this, you present yourself to the immigration officer in your own territory who will allow you departure into another territory. Because you should understand that once you talk about border management, it is not your national law. There must be a set of rules that will admit, that allow you entry and also allow you departure. So when you leave Nigerian territory, for example, you present yourself to the officials of the other where you seek entry. So which means that particular place, the border, must be an approved entry point. So that's exactly what it means. So from there, now you are given, as of that time, a 90-day stay. Then that is the first phase. The second phase was from 80. Like I said, the first protocol 79, but it came into definitive entry into force 1980. Then the second one would be the right of residence, that you have the right to reside in the territory of member states, which means that you have the right to reside and also look for employment. Take up any employment, but also know that there are those employment sectors that are the exclusive reserve of member states. You cannot just come from another country and say you want to join the army or the police or whatever it is. So those that it is clearly defined. Then the third one is the right of establishment, that you have the right to establish legitimate businesses in territories of member states under same condition with the citizens of that country. So I think it is quite clear in that one. Then let us go back at the next slide to what they call the travel documents, those that will facilitate that one. You have the ECOWAS National Biometric ID card. But before then, like I mentioned before, it used to be, the requirement for mobility used to be the passport, the national passport, or what they call the travel certificate. But as we go, it has metamorphosed into what they call the travel. Why the national biometric ID card? If you look at the the travel certificate, it was handwritten. And it was handwritten, and member states complained that there were cases of forgery, reliability of travel documents. Then ECOWAS now, in their own wisdom, so okay, fine. With the member state, because when I talk about ECOWAS, I'm talking about member states. It's not the commission. We'll develop a travel document that will replace the travel certificate. I was part of that particular venture. and also have the honor myself to present this document at the highest level at ICAO. So this document was presented and accepted as a travel document for the region. Then in that document also, in the regulations adopted by the Authority of Heads of State, they step down the requirement for residence permit, which means that once you come into a particular territory, you go to your embassy, you tell them that if you want to stay, you let them know that you want to stay. They will now meet the relevant authority in immigration and inform them, because you need to be informed. They need to be informed that there's some in terms of their planning and everything. So these are the documents that you need. But also know that this document, this ID card, can also be used, like I heard that other countries are, some member states are using it for elections, some for payment system, but this is exactly what it has been intended for. So the biometric ID card was envisioned to be a travel document, demystifying the travel document like you have. Why did we do that? First of all, it must be accessible, affordable. In fact, it was envisioned to be free because of the private sector, the SMEs, MSMEs, so that they can be identified at various borders that they are crossing. So another thing again, it will also enhance the security architecture, because people crossing the border from one territory to another must also be identified.